So tell me a little bit of history about where you're from, your education, and your career, if you could.
Okay. Well, I am originally from Jackson, Mississippi. Finished high school at Lanier High School in Jackson. Finished college at Alcorn State University, which was Alcorn College at the time. I have a master's from Tuskegee University and a doctorate from Michigan State University. Played football in undergraduate school. High school and then went to college on a football scholarship and an academic scholarship. So I used my football scholarship to pay my room, board, laundry, and tuition, and my academic scholarship to buy things at the student union. So it was kind of like a Stewart College experience. I was president of the freshman class, sophomore class, junior class, and then was elected president of the senior class, resigned that so that I could run for president of Student Government Association and won that. So, not bragging, but telling the truth, I've never run for an office that I didn't win. So, God has been good to me, and I'll put it like that.
Wow.
I was also a teammate of Medgar Evers, the civil rights icon that was slain in Mississippi. In fact, we had just left a meeting the night he was killed. He got home, the man shot him in the back, and you know the rest of the story is history. But I introduced Medgar to his wife, Myrtle, and I'm the godfather of their two children. So they're grown ups now at the time. Uh, I have served as moderator of our General Assembly 3 terms in the Cumberland Presbyterian Church in America. Uh, been president of my fraternity graduate chapter 3 times, as well as undergraduate chapter twice. Uh, 6 children. My wife passed in 2016 in June after we had 66 years of marriage. So a lot of good memories. I became interested and got busy with Bethel, lots and lots of years ago, 3 presidents ago to be exact, before Dr. Butler. So
Wow.
been around a while.
So moving on to Black History Month, what does Black History Month mean to you?
Well, having lived through the civil rights struggle, having marched with Dr. King, actually having crossed the Melvin Pettus Bridge with John Lewis. See, I didn't get the knocks upside of my head that he got because he was out front. Well, I was a young man too at that time, and we were trying to live out the credo that all men and women are created equal, and that while we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, there were people who were set on denying those rights to a large segment of our population. And like I said, we were young, energetic, and we said enough is enough, and we'll stop there.
That is that's a great story. Like, how has that shaped you, and how has that shaped you into the person that you became today?
Well, it taught me that wholes and parts are never absolutes because we only see our part of the whole. And we have to keep in mind that other individuals have their contributions to make. Then we take all those contributions, shake them up, and come out with not necessarily our opinion,
Mhm.
group opinion based on all of the talents and experiences that each member of the group brings to the party. And I'm calling it a party. A lot of times it was a fight, but everybody has worth was the bottom line. And that you have a right to your opinion, but you don't have a right to force me to believe it.
How would you describe Bethel as a place where African Americans can become who they are meant to be?
Well, that's been an evolutionary process. There was a time when African Americans at Bethel were looked at kind of askance. They weren't quite sure what African Americans were bringing. So that had to be an educational process. And so as we brought in good administrators, faculty, and staff who understood some of the story of African Americans and what the various backgrounds meant. You see, some people were born into a nice family. They didn't ever have to worry about what they were going to eat. They didn't have to worry about whether mama and daddy were going to both have to go to work, and that they would come in as latchkey children in the afternoon because nobody was there but them when they got out of school. They were shocked, many of them, that how a two-parent family operated. Uh, but they found out that we all have a common humanity, that we all eat, we all need to sleep, we all want to breathe clean air, and we all want the best for our children. Now, sometimes the Black experience differs from a lot of the other cultures in that Black children have often had to make decisions early on about what we were going to do with our lives because we did not have a model in all homes that pointed the way that it's important for you to get an education. They always said that. But when it really came down, when the rubber hit the road, who's going to fix my breakfast? Am I going to have something to eat when I get out of school? Will mama's job, sometimes daddy was absent, so will mama's job sustain the family? And so, in many respects, we were prepared to be adults way before it was time to be an adult. So you might say that it's a part of the Black experience. And we used to articulate that, and Dr. King articulated it so beautifully. He said that character is more important than reputation. It's what you are on the inside, not what you exhibit on the outside. So, because he knew a lot of us were crying inside. Many of the people in the marches were hungry, but they marched not for themselves, but for their offspring, so that young ladies like you can go to a school like Bethel and exhibit your many talents that God gave you.
What's one message that you would like to leave for all young African Americans at Bethel University?
That they can start where they are and go anywhere on this planet. That there are talents that you and your peers have that have never been explored yet. Some of them have been scratched in terms of the surface, but it is not yet known what you can be. Keep your chin up, your head up, and when somebody say, "Who are you?" you tell them who you are, and you say, "And by the way, I'm a graduate of Bethel University." They'll get the message.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Daniel, for those powerful words and that encouraging story. I think I speak for myself and the rest of us when I say this was just very good and this was very powerful and such an inspiring story. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an honor and a pleasure getting to interview you today.
It was my pleasure. You take care and keep on doing what you're doing. And like I said, you'll be a part of the legacy of Bethel.